Welcome back to Just Scrap Radio on BJPenn.com. I'm your host, Cole Shelton, episode 170. We got a good line here out of UFC 303. First up, we're actually going to be joined just by two fighters. They're actually fighting each other. We're going to be joined by Michelle Waterson-Gomez and Gillian Robertson to preview their fight on the prelims UFC 303. I actually think this fight should be higher up on the card, could be a main card fight, but really good chat with Michelle just about how this fight kind of came together. And it's kind of interesting. If you look on the Tapology, it says there was a canceled bout. They're supposed to fight at UFC 302, and it says it got bout rescheduled. Michelle said she was never offered a fight against June 1st. It was always June 29th. Gillian, meanwhile, said the fight was supposed to be on June 1st, so not really sure what happened there. But Michelle likes this matchup. She knows she's obviously coming off 4 straight losses. The pressure is on her, but she feels like she can have a lot of success against Gillian. She's excited for a girl to grapple her rather than just wanted to strike with her. So where she thinks she can have a lot of success. And then with Gillian, she's expecting just to take down Michelle and get a big win here. And she knows beating Michelle, it would be the biggest win of her career and really propel her into fighting some of these top 10 girls and start making a case to fight for the strawweight title pretty soon. But be sure to share the show, subscribe. No episode next week, just with the Canada Day and the 4th of July and no UFC card. So tune in 2 weeks from now for the next episode of Just Scrap Radio. All right, we're joined UFC strawweight Michelle Waterson-Gomez, who's back in action here at UFC 303. Michelle, how's it going?
I am amazing.
uh, First thing is like returning on this card, like International Fight Week, the return of Conor McGregor. Like, how excited were you to be when you found out you'd be on this card?
I just feel like the stars had aligned, honestly. It is really beautiful. So 303 is the area code of where I grew up, Aurora, Colorado, 303. I have a 720 number, but 303 is very famous for people from Colorado. So there's that. Another cool thing is my UFC debut was, I've had a lot of fights actually under the Conor McGregor.
Mm-hmm.
So my UFC debut was the day after Conor McGregor and Mendes fought. It was lots of fun. I always have really good luck when I fight under Conor McGregor's card. The other one that I fought under was also when Conor fought Khabib. Fought Felice Herring on that one, and I had a great turnout for that. So I really enjoy these huge cards. I think I rise to the occasion when there's a lot at stake.
Yeah, like as that's what I was gonna say. Like you've been on some big cards, like obviously Habib Conor one is big, but like where would you kind of rank this for where you think it's gonna be for the biggest cards you've been on? Just because like Conor hasn't fought in a long time. Like I still think Khabib will be the biggest card ever, but like where would you kind of put this for the cards you fought on?
Yeah, I mean, you can't Khabib, and I think just even because the fact that now Khabib is retired, it's like one of those things that you're only going to be able to see that once. He's done, he's not coming back. I don't know if there's anything that would get him to want to come back to fighting. So that's kind of like, that was a huge card. With that being said, they're bringing back International Fight Week. It's going to be, it's going to be a party for sure.
And then you and Gillian were actually supposed to fight this weekend in New Jersey. Originally, I know like that wasn't ever the things I saw on like it got reported you guys are going to go there, and then it got switched. Like, was it always 303 then? Or, like, what kind of happened with that?
Oh, why? I don't know why things get reported without my permission. There's a lot of things that happen when I'm like, well, something gets reported and like I don't find out until I see it on social media. I'm like, oh, I didn't even nobody told me I was fighting, and it's really comical. People catch wind of certain things. It might be that things, are getting put out there that whoever's the heads are brainstorming or whatnot, but that was never a thing. I never signed anything. I couldn't tell you the first thing of that date.
So I guess it's always been this card for you. Like, was this timing then what you were kind of looking
Yeah,
for?
I only agreed to this fight. I didn't even hear of that other fight. I didn't even know that was even an option.
Yeah, it's even on your Tapology page. It said you're supposed to fight this week, and it just says bout rescheduled as like the reason why it's not happening, which I thought was weird because like I didn't even really know it was ever booked for this weekend. So I looked at your Tapology. I'm like, oh, that's odd.
Yeah, no, people are weird.
Uh, was this kind of the time frame you were looking for after that last fight then, like in the summer?
Yeah, after my last fight, I broke my nose. I didn't think I did, but I guess it was broke. So I had to get surgery on my nose. And so that put me out for a while. And going in, the doc was like, "Hey, you probably broke your nose multiple times." And I was like, "Yeah, it happens." I just never went in to get it checked because I figured, I'm going to continue to fight. And I continue to get it broke. But it just so happened that it happened in the fight, and it was something that was the UFC was able to cover. And so, I just figured, why not? Let's go get this taken care of. My septum was completely shattered. So I had to take some time off, but sometimes time off is good. You need to reset. When you're a fighter, your mind is constantly in red. You're constantly in fight mode. So it's like you're operating at a high level of focus, a high level of performance, and it's not sustainable. And so, we hear all of the greats talk about it. Volkanovski's talked about it, and it is true, especially uh, in the case of a fighter. You have, everybody needs balance in life. So I think it's important for a fighter to understand where that balance lies. And for some fighters, 3 fights a year is a good balance for them, and for other fighters, maybe once or twice a year is a good balance for them. So everybody's different. And so it was nice to kind of step back, spend some time with my family, continue to train, continue to love what I do, because I never want to be in that situation where I'm bitter and I have a salty taste in my mouth about my career and about what I do every day. I don't want to wake up dreading going to work, And so it's important to kind of step back and remove yourself from things, so you can kind of see the bigger picture of it all and fall in love with it.
And with your last fight, just quick on that, like, what do you take away from that one?
The first time I fought her, it was a really good fight. We took it all the way to 5 rounds. It was a really close fight, ended up losing to decision. And I think there were just a couple of things that I could have done differently in order to secure the win. And one of those things was to take her down and hold her down. I knew that, but she also knew that, And so just out the gate, I think I was trying to be more of a dog than I should have. And I just I had one mission, and that was to take her down. And I kind of got zoned in on that. And sometimes it's hard for a fighter to snap out of that, to adjust and to make those adjustments in the fight when you're so married to a specific idea. I think I was just too much of a dog in that fight. And then honestly, what I think happened is I've never been cut for the close to 18 years that I've been fighting. I've never been cut, and especially on the face. And I think it kind of freaked everybody out. It freaked, the judges out. It freaked the ref out. It freaked my corner out. And so I was fine. I've been hurt way worse. I've had broken hand, broken nose. And so it just looked worse than what it was. And I think that the ref, instead of watching the fight to let me fight, I think he was watching the fight to find a moment to stop it. And that was a little frustrating on my end, because I am a fighter, I'm a warrior. And at the end of the day, I'd rather, die on my shield and let me go out, especially if I've already taken the damage, like, let me fight,
Mm-hmm.
But it is what it is. He obviously saw something that I didn't see, and sometimes that happens as well, as where the fighters in it. You don't get to see what everybody else sees. Yeah, those punches weren't hurting. I was in the fight, and so they obviously saw something that I didn't.
And then fighting Gillian Robertson, like, how familiar were you with her? Because she's been in the UFC for a while.
Yeah, she used to fight at 125. I know she dropped down just recently. She's only had a couple of fights at strawweight. I think she's doing quite well in that division. She's a heavy grappler, which is great for me, because usually these last couple of girls that I've been fighting are heavy stand-up. They throw bombs. They don't want to go to the ground with me. They don't even want to get into those exchanges. So, I'm looking forward to having somebody that doesn't mind going to the ground, having those exchanges, and it should lead for a really fun and interesting fight.
Was this just who the UFC offered, or like, did you have anyone in mind you thought you'd fight, or is it just really up to the UFC after that last one?
I guess for me, it's just, the UFC offered that. We always go back to our to the coaches, and we kind of hash it out. We talk about it if it's a good matchup. we say yay or nay, and I thought it was a really good matchup. So we agreed to the bout.
I actually thought they might have gone for that Rebus fight again, just because you guys have been booked a couple times. I think it's a fight they want. Like, you guys are both big names. You're both coming off losses. Like, that's where I kind of thought they were gonna go with you.
Yeah, you never know with the UFC. So it's kind of up in the air, and at this point, I'm just you know riding the wave and enjoying the ride.
With Gillian, like, her game plan is no secret what she wants to do. She wants to get you down on the ground, try to submit you. Like, so knowing like how good she's on the ground, like, is that something that you want to keep it standing then, or do you think like your grappling could match hers and like it is gonna hit the mat at some point?
You never know. That's why I love MMA. There's so many different options. The beauty of MMA is that you have options, and I'd like to consider myself a well-rounded fighter. I have quite a few submissions under my belt. I just haven't been able to knock any of them off. Like competing against these higher level girls, it just the competition gets harder and harder as you climb up the ranks. And so I'm excited wherever it takes us. I'm excited.
How do you kind of see it playing out? Like, she's obviously a pretty durable girl. Like, I think only Macy's the only one to finish her. That was obviously at 25. So how do you kind of see this one playing out?
Hmm. Well, you know, like you said, I don't think her strength is a secret. She's a grappler. She strikes. She doesn't strike to strike. She strikes to grapple. She strikes to get in. She doesn't shoot to wrestle. She's not trying to pin you up against the cage and like hold you there. She shoots to take you to the ground. She tries to ride the hips and she takes the back. That's her game. And so that's the beauty of understanding somebody that is a specialist, is that you know what they're coming for. So we're just making sure we're ready for it.
What do you think a win over her does to you? Like, obviously, just gets you back in the win column, but like, you're kind of someone with a big name. Like, they always seem to give you these big fights. Like, what do you think a win does for you here?
A win. It's just funny. Like the UFC, to me, at this point in my career, I feel like every fight, whether it's a win or a loss, I'm walking away from it growing as a person. And for me, just a win is going to be something that I'm super proud of personally, because it's been a rough journey these last couple of years. And because I am a fighter, and my family is so supportive of my career, and my coaches are so supportive of my career, and everybody around me believes in my skills and abilities. We've kind of just bit down on our mouthpiece and decided to keep grinding it out. And that's the life of a fighter. That's the life of a warrior. And just to have my hand raised would be amazing. Just a testament to all the lonely nights in the shadows.
Is there a lot of pressure on you going to this one? Just like maybe your job's on the line after that, or like, do you not really think about that?
Not at all. And no, I'm very content where I am in life. And so it's just funny to me. I guess I've just kind of detached myself from the outcome of any fight, because I feel like in life I'm winning, big time. Even with the losses, I feel like, gosh, I walk away such uh with so much appreciation after that last fight. I'm in the I got shuttled to the ER, and I'm pissed off because I lost my fight. I'm pissed off because the ref called it before, like, I was just getting ready to put her in my guard, and at that point I could control her. At that point I could go for submissions.
Mhm.
But they snatched it away from me, and I'm here and I'm pissed off and I'm crying and I'm telling my husband, God, I'm sick of losing. I'm sick of Araya seeing me lose. And I'm throwing this hissy fit, and then I realize I'm in the ER in Vegas, and there are people coming back with gunshot wounds. There are people coming back, and on their last breath, and their families are on the other side, and there's nothing they can do about it. There are people coming in with like gunshot wounds, with that just got in a knife fight, and here I am doing what I love, being taken care of by the biggest organization in the world, cutting it up with Bryce Mitchell and the co-main event, and I'm still healthy and I'm still happy, and I have my husband by my side. Like, I'm winning. like life is so much bigger than fighting, you know.
And I guess too, like I think a lot of people I thought you beat Luana, so I guess like if you win that one, like you're 1-1 your last two, like no one's really talking about this, which I know the UFC looks at that a lot of times too. When I talk to fighters that say they've lost like 3 or 4 in a row, the UFC thinks they won like 2 of them. They kind of just view it as wins in their books as well.
Exactly. And that's why it's kind of like one of those things that at this point in my career, I'm just like, fight's a fight. Like you go in there, it might be a win or a loss, but it doesn't tell the complete story. The L's and the W's don't tell the complete story. And I'm just to the point in my life and in my career where I'd rather just like fall in love with the story.
Just final thing, like what is kind of the goal then for you this year?
The goal is obviously to win. The goal is to, we the goal is always to win. It shouldn't be go in there to just, collect a payday. It shouldn't be to go in there just with the mentality of whatever, throw it to the wind and whatever happens happens. No, the goal is to win. The goal is to get out there and do what we've been putting work in for. And that's just always the goal is to grow and get better and evolve as a martial artist.
Actually, just one more quick thing. Any more movies or acting stuff for you lately, or just that one you did?
I haven't really had anything going on. We've just been super busy here at the home front. We're doing some construction at our own home, and my husband is we're building homes, and so I get the opportunity to help him out with that. And my daughter is getting into acting as well, and so I'm kind of helping her out with that and kind of being the momager, I guess you could say. But it's nice. It's nice to kind of be able to help them out when I can.
Well, Michelle, I appreciate the time as always. Thank you so much for doing this again.
No worries. I appreciate you making time for me.
All right, we're joined by UFC strawweight Gillian Robertson, who's got a big fight upcoming at UFC 303. Gillian, how's it going?
I'm doing great. We are 3 weeks out now, and I am super hyped. I feel like this is the most excited I've been for a fight in a long time, so I just can't wait to get in there.
Yeah, I was coming off the big win in Toronto, and then kind of, I know you like to be a lot active. So like, was this a lot longer of a layoff than what you were thinking after that last one in January?
Uh, for me at strawweight, I think this is ideal. At flyweight, I could be more active, but at strawweight, I think I made my biggest mistake in taking that Tabitha Ritchie fight. It was just too quick of a turnaround for my body, and I need the time in between it realistically to fight at this weight class.
And then you get the call, International Fight Week. Like, how excited were you for that? Because it's always a big card they do for this one.
Oh yeah, at first, they actually put me on the card that's supposed to be last week. I
Yeah.
was initially supposed to fight on that card, and then they changed it, I think a week or two after. And when I got the change, I was like, all right, it's International Fight Week, that's cool. And then I saw that Connor was supposed to be the main event. I'm like, oh, this is amazing. He's just such a he is the biggest superstar
Mhm.
in the sport, and it's so awesome to have someone like him on the card. As long as like I said, fingers crossed, we're hoping that goes through.
Yeah, how weird has that been for you? Like, obviously, it has nothing to do with your fight, but like, obviously, if he's fighting, there's going to be more eyeballs on you and just like a bigger event all around. So, like, has it been weird for you this week? Or just being like, is he on? Is he off? Or like, kind of what's been your thoughts on that?
It's definitely weird for me because I think that I don't know. There's just such a spectacle around Connor that's gonna bring so many average
Mm.
people who aren't UFC fans to the event. So I think that it just puts so much more eyes on you, so much more attention on you, and it really is that important to have Connor on the card.
And then getting Michelle Waterson, like a big name like that. How excited are you for this one?
It's the moment I've been waiting for. I feel like this really is like my title run, my shot, and you guys are just gonna keep on seeing me going up. And a vet like Michelle Waterson, it's just an honor to be across the cage from her. It's gonna be. I'm just honestly so excited for this opportunity. I really haven't been this excited in a long time.
What have you made of her recent run? Like, Chelsea is on a bit of a skid, but like, I thought she won that Luana fight. So, like, if you kind of take that one away, it doesn't look as bad. But like, she is fighting the very top of the division. So, like, what do you kind of make of her run recently?
I think you just said it there. She's always fought the very top of the division. So, um, yeah, she has a couple losses, but it's not like she's losing to scrubs.
Mhm.
It's not like she's losing to the bottom of the UFC. These are girls that are ranked in the top of the division. And I feel like for me to prove that I belong up there with them, I have to beat someone like Michelle.
With Michelle too, like obviously everyone kind of knows her for her kickboxing and she's grappling as well. Like, so do you think? But do you think this one she's not really gonna want to go down to the ground with you at all?
I always think that with all of my opponents, but some part of me thinks that she might shoot on me. I don't know what it is. I feel like just studying her, she typically shoots on girls who are more strikers, so
Mhm.
she is comfortable with shooting. But and I typically don't expect girls to want to go to the ground with me. But Michelle, being the vet she is, I don't think she's gonna shy away from it.
Any changes to the training for this one, or just kind of the same people as always?
Oh yeah, same people as always. I'm at Goat Shed with Dean Thomas. Gloria DaCosta's working with me every day. Roy Echeverria has been a huge part of this camp. I flew down Anna Crutchfield, great kickboxer, the perfect look for Michelle. I'm like, she's signed with Fury FC right now, but her next step needs to be the UFC. She's like up there so good. So I'm like, I've just had such a perfect training camp, so many good looks, and yeah, Dean Thomas and the Goat Shed got me ready.
How do you kind of see this one playing out then? Because Michelle, like, she has been, I know she hasn't finished in her like two of her last three, but like before that, like she was a pretty hard girl to put away.
Yeah, she's definitely a very hard girl to put away. I obviously always see it going. I feel like the second we hit the ground, we're in my world. If you're a black belt, I'm gonna knock you out, and if you're a striker, I'm gonna submit you. The second we hit the ground is how it always works out. So, I have a lot of confidence in that, the fight going that way. But also, if she does, because Michelle is very good at avoiding the takedown. She's very good at playing on the outside, and like you saw it against Carla Esparza,
Mhm.
she played that masterfully. So I think even if it does go that way, though, I'm comfortable. Still doing damage, still keeping the fight on the feet the whole time, getting in on my shots, making her work, and I feel like the fight will still go my way.
If you do end up finishing, like, what do you think that does to you? Like, I see a big win, like big spin of your career, probably. Like, where do you think that kind of puts you in the division?
I'm hoping maybe like a fight away from a contender shot,
Mhm.
something like that. I think like two more fights and I should be looking at the belt. Well, two more wins after this.
Mhm.
I should be looking at the belt. So I'm hoping that it bumps me up a little bit in the rankings, and I'm down for whoever's above me after this. So just keep on climbing.
Do you think they're really starting to like push you now? Like, I think since going down to strawweight again, like they kind of realized they've been giving you like these more notable names lately. Like, do you think the UFC's like kind of starting to finally get behind you, give you that push up?
I'm really looking at this fight as like they are giving me an like this is I keep on saying it's my last opportunity because it's like I'm 29, it's like I'm not old, but I'm getting older
Mhm.
for fighters. I'm getting up there. I'm like, this is my last title run. I feel like I'm going to get. This is the last shot. And I feel like the UFC is giving me a gift here and giving me Michelle Waterson. And they're like, hey, take it, perform. And I gotta capitalize. I have to take this opportunity because this is my last title run and I'm gonna make the most of it.
Is there any pressure to like get a finish or like have an exciting fight on like this big Connor card? Because like there's gonna be a lot more eyeballs, and like if you do something kind of like make a big statement, especially with how many people will be watching, like you can kind of get that big push up after.
I think that's just my style, going for the finishes.
Yeah.
I think my one decision win in the UFC. I'm sitting there looking pissed off with my hand raised. I'm always going for the finish, always trying to make fights exciting. Trying to obviously, I feel like a lot of fans don't. Fans are getting more interested in the grappling aspect now. I feel like initially a lot of fans want to see the strikers and the knockouts, but I try to make it as exciting as I can for being a grappler.
Uh, with it, like, what is kind of the goal then for you this year?
I honestly, it depends how we're looking. I guess physically, right now, there's definitely like having a little issues with my hip that I might need to get surgery on post fight.
Mhm.
Obviously, I can perform fine with it, but post fight, it might be something that I need to look into. So it really depends on, I guess, how we are physically after the fight and how soon that turnaround's gonna be.
How do you kind of decide if you're gonna get that surgery now? Like, is this just something that you can like fight through, but like it'd be better to get it?
So I guess what's happening with it is that I can train fine for the most, like when I spar I feel fine. When I do things like once I'm warmed up I feel fine. But on like a daily basis, I honestly haven't walked without a limp in probably about a year now. I'm limping constantly. I'm in pain every other day. now I'm at the point where it's like some nights I have to take ibuprofen because it wakes me up just aching through the night. So it's getting to the point where it's more and more of an issue, but it doesn't affect my performance at all. So that's been my kind of, oh, I
Mm,
don't need to get this surgery. I don't need to get this surgery because I've been doing great performing. I feel great. Like I can go in the gym and do 3 hard 5-minute rounds of sparring like I just had a fight and then hardly be able to walk out the cage because my hip's so bad. So it's getting to the point where it's just too bad for regular life right now.
mm. Do you know, like, have you talked to dogs, like, how long you'd be out for that? Like, do you think it's just like a
Um,
minor thing?
I don't like to believe doctors.
Yeah.
So they told me for the surgery that I need that it's approximately a 6 months until I get back to sparring full time.
Yeah.
But I'm going to assume that it'll be sooner than that. Most times doctors are working with people who aren't fighters, who aren't like
Yeah.
athletes, and I feel like we tend to recover a little bit better because we're I guess working on it more, a little bit more athletic, and our bodies just are used to this shit too.
Yeah. Well, Jillian, though, that's all I had for you. Thanks so much for doing this again. I appreciate it as always.
Oh, thank you so much. It was a pleasure
Yeah.
talking to you.